Welcome back to the tutorial of sales forecasting. In this video, we'll discuss the detailed calculation of weighted moving average. Afterwards, we'll start discussion on trend and seasonality. So let's get started. So in weighted moving average, we assign certain weights to the preceding years for which we are calculating the forecasted value. For instance, if we are calculating a 3 months weighted moving average, let's say we have 12 months, Jan, Feb, March to December. So if we are calculating a 3 months weighted moving average, we start our calculation with 4th month, which is April. So we have to take into consideration March, Feb and Jan, and we assign different weights to each of these. In this particular question, if we see, it says that the most weight assigned is with the most recent observation, which is 0.5. A weight of 0.3 to the second most recent observation, and a weight of 0.2 to the third most recent observation. So this is the first task we have to do. Then what is the forecast for Jan for next year? And then also calculate MSE, which is mean squared error, for the 3-month weighted moving average forecast. So if we see the formula, it's simple. We just multiply weight with each of the different months and add all such values. So let's do this calculation in Excel. So we'll just copy and paste this data in the Excel sheet. Now this is the data we have. We are interested to calculate the weighted moving average. So what we're doing, we are doing it for April. So we need to assign different weights. So we're assigning weight of 0.5, and then we are adding this value with next month, this month, Feb into 0.3 and plus Jan into 0.2. So this is the value which is given different weights is calculated. So we have calculated this value for different months. For May, what they have done B5 into 0.5, and B5 is April. B4 into 0.3, March into 0.3, and so on. And we can check other cells also for the formula, which is written here. Let me write the formula here also. So we can see that for each forecasted value, we have taken into account the previous 3 values. With the recent value, we have given the weight of 0.5, second most recent 0.3, and last is 0.2. And we added them all and we got our forecasted value. Now what next? We need to calculate the MSE. For Jan, we have already calculated the forecasted value, and that is 104.3. So we are interested to calculate the mean squared error. So first, what we do, we calculate the difference, that will be error. So actual value minus forecasted value. This is the error. Let me calculate all such errors. And then I'll go and square each of these values. And then I'll take the average of these values. So this is the MSE, which is mean squared errors. Now move to next topic, that is exponential smoothing. So in exponential smoothing, we use a different multiplier. For instance, we use a smoothing factor that is called alpha. So alpha into previous value plus 1 minus alpha into previous forecast. In certain cases, we do not have previous forecast, which can be taken as some qualitative value based on the assumption or experience, or it can be one forecast based on other forecasting methods. In our example, we have forecasted values. We need to forecast values for next year for Jan. So what is the ask here? Create an exponential smoothing forecast for this time series. Use smoothing constant alpha as 0.4 and an initial forecast of 80. So this is already given, the initial forecast, which we do not need to calculate. What is the forecast for January for next year? So what we will do now, we will calculate the forecasting for all the months starting from Feb, because Jan's forecast is already given as 80. We have to then calculate the MAP for the exponential smoothing forecast. Let's get started. Now again we have this example. Initial forecast is already given. So this will be equal to, let's go back to the formula. This is our formula. Alpha is already given 0.4 and previous value, which is previous actual value. Okay, so we have 0.4, which is alpha, multiplied by previous value. This is one of the terms in the equation. Then next term is previous forecasted value, which we already have here. 1 minus alpha, 1 minus alpha, that will be 0.6, and then multiply by previous forecasted value, which in our case we already have. So these two terms combined will give the forecasted value based on exponential smoothing, and then we go ahead and calculate for all remaining months. Let me quickly format this cell as number and with 2 decimal places. So for Jan, we have forecasted value as 101.54. As we already have calculated the forecasted value for each year, each month, now we can calculate the error. So for error, we have actual minus forecasted value. We can also take the absolute value here. Let me take the absolute. So let me type ABS and let me just close this. So each and every value will be the absolute value. This is the difference between actual and forecast. Now let me calculate the percentage. So this divided by actual and multiply by 100. Let me delete this. Now these all values are the percentage errors expressed in terms of percentage. If we take the mean of all these values, we call it as mean absolute percentage error. Let me just take the mean. So mean absolute percentage error, which is MAPE, is 15.66. So we have done our calculation here. So you can just pause, take the data, and then do the calculations. So now next topic of our discussion is trend and seasonality. We have talked about moving averages, we have talked about weighted moving averages, and we have talked about exponential smoothing. This session is about trend and seasonality. So we see if time is increasing, time in terms of days, in terms of weeks, or in terms of year. How time can change the sales and effect of time on sales, that will be called as trend. Seasonality is the repeated values which repeats over the period of time. So these two things first we will understand by looking at certain graphs. So look at this graph which shows the annual consumer price index, which is increasing as time is increasing. Year by year it is increasing. We see that there's a dominant factor here is time, which is expressed in terms of years. So there's no cyclicity here, there's no periodic repetition. The trend is a pattern in the long term movement or general direction of the data over a period of time. A trend could be upward, downward, or a flat trend, and is generally the result of long-term factors or influence on the data. For example, in a time series for the price of a stock, the overall increase or decrease in value of the stock over several years is considered a trend. Often we look for linear trends in the data. When a linear trend is present, we can use a trend line or simple linear regression model to model the data. But trends do not always have to follow a linear model. In some examples, we can have trends which are quadratic or exponential trends. Though in our lectures, we will limit it to linear trends. Seasonality. So seasonality, just quickly have a look and try to understand. As this graph seasonality shows seasonality over quarters. Each quarter is somehow repeating. This data is for 4 years, and for each year, data is collected per quarter. So it is 12 rows of data. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, 4, and so on. And every year, these quarters are repeated. What we can see, we can easily see that the trend goes upward and repeats back at quarter 1. So year 1, quarter 1, year 2, quarter 1, we can see. In such kind of data, we cannot just repeat two consecutive periods. For example, we cannot compare quarter 4 of previous year and the quarter 1 of next year. Rather, we compare each quarter of the preceding year. For instance, in this data, we compare all quarters only, quarter 1, or we compare only quarter 2, or we compare quarter 3. So there is a quarter to quarter comparison rather than comparison of quarter 3 or quarter 4. Seasonality or seasonal patterns, repeated and predictable highs and lows in the time series data that occur at the time each year indicate seasonality in the data. Seasonal patterns are repeated over a 1-year period. For example, retail sales experience predictable highs during the holiday seasons every year, which creates a seasonal pattern. Think of summers, winters, and rains, which also might drive sales for different products. Think of products like coffee, cold drinks, ACs, water heaters, raincoats, etc. Have a look at this graph. So there is not much of effect of time, rather than it seems that it is going up and going down and repeating itself. So here the dominant aspect of time series is the trend. Is the seasonality, not the trend. So we have some kind of seasonal effect and some kind of random variation. In this data, we have mostly effect of trend, not the effect of seasonality. And this is combined. We have seasonal effect, we have trend, and we have random variation. So we have this data set which we are going to use. If we have this data and we plot this data in Excel, what component of time series is most dominant? So let's quickly have a look at this. So we are going to select this data, we insert, and we select this chart. So we get this graph. We can format this graph a little bit. Click the plus sign, click the paint form, and we are going to change the colors here. The color is changed, then style. We can also format the y-axis. So we go to and now we select not from 0, rather than we start the y-axis by putting another number. So that number we can think of, for example, I'm writing as 100. So now the y-axis starts with 100. So you can also format the data accordingly if you want to do so. Now what is there in this graph? So let me quickly end this video and add next slide. So it will look like this. We have trend element, we have random variation in this data. Next is, if we plot this data, what we get. So I'm not going to show it, rather than I'm going to show how we can get the same data, same graph using the same method. So this graph is different. For instance, this is most dominant for seasonality. The trend element is not much dominant, rather than element of seasonality is more dominant. These are the synthetic data to show you how seasonality and trend would look in the data set. Now there is another example of data which shows element of both trend and seasonality. So this data set, and let me show you how it was drawn, it was plotted. So we select the data set, go to scatter plot, made a trend line, and little bit format this trend line, axis option, and select 40. Now this trend line now starts, y-axis starts with 40. Now it will look like this. It has trend, it has element of seasonal effect and random variation. You can also plot this data set. The data set is available in the description. Now this example will have in Excel. This is a data set of numbers of coffee sold per 1,000 per week. What is the task here? We have to create a linear trend projection for this time series, interpret the slope of the linear trend projection, use the linear trend projection to forecast the number of coffees sold for week 17, and calculate MAD for this forecast. MAD is the error term which we are interested to forecast. Now pause the video and think about different approaches to solve this problem. We will discuss the detailed solution in the next video. Thank you very much.